I've been an artist my whole life.
I painted off and on since I was about 10 years old.
I came to painting shortly after retirement.
I started painting in 2017 when we moved to Niagara-on-the-Lake.
Before I joined, I called myself a crafter, not an artist.
I've also dabbled around on the edges of art. I did interior design. I did some little bit of fashion design.
My whole life I've had this desire to paint, but it never seemed to work out.
But I had come to a point along that path, painting path, that I needed some more excitement. I needed some more guidance and enthusiasm.
I came across Acrylic University.
Well, on the internet, I came across Jed Dorsey and his art, and I just loved how filled with life it was.
A friend of mine told me about Acrylic University.
A friend of mine posted on Facebook about this new course started by acrylicuniversity.com.
And I kept seeing on my Facebook feed Jed with his positive attitude and really vibrant, colorful paintings. And I was like, I want to try that.
I joined Acrylic University in December of 2019 and have had so much fun with it ever since.
This past spring, I decided I'm going to go for it. I'm just going to sign up, and I did. And oh my goodness, it is so much more than I thought it was. I mean, I am learning things.
I think the biggest thing I learned is how to use color as value, which I just didn't get before. Jed is a fantastic teacher. He's very encouraging and uplifting.
I love that he doesn't feel higher than me. He's just like right there with me and wants to see us all succeed.
His great system for teaching, I mean, this is how he makes his living, but he is sharing how he gets there and making it possible for other people to get there too, if you're willing to put in the work. So this has really changed everything. This is what I've been looking for.
I'm just amazed at how much I'm learning and how much this course has meant to me.
It has really been life-changing for me. I don't know, it's just a great feeling of the community and taking care of our fellow artists.
It has created a sense of confidence in color mixing, composition, trying new ways to look at things.
What I love about Acrylic University is the community.
The online community has been very affirming and encouraging.
I've really enjoyed the community that there is online. I've never met any of them in person, and yet I feel like I have lifelong friends.
I believe Acrylic University is a path to success.
More about having this creative outlet to learn and to grow.
I can't tell you how much I would recommend Acrylic University to anyone who wants to paint, who wants to paint better, who wants to start painting. This is something I've been looking for my whole life, and that's a long time, in case you can't tell I love you. So thank you to all of you.
It has moved me so much further than I could ever have dreamed along my art journey, and it was totally worth the investment. So if there's anybody out there that is wondering, is this the right move for me? I highly encourage it. You won't regret it.
Seriously, I wish I had done this sooner.
You won't be disappointed.
Everything is just so worth the investment. So hope to see you in the community soon, and happy painting.
Whoa! I see and hear a bunch of lions out there who are ready to paint again. It's so fun. I was just looking at the chat coming in and I saw some people going, I'm roaring like a lion. So good job, everybody out there. I am here today with my good friend, Mr. Peter Stout. And Peter, are you with me?
I am.
And we have our good, amazing friend, Dianna Shyne, here also. So we've got some fun in store for us. Hi, Dianna.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Jed. It's good to see you this morning.
So good to be together, and it's always fun to paint with you. I'm going to just share a few little announcements, and then we will come right back to where we can get painting and get talking. So thank you for joining us, Dianna.
Oh,
yeah,
it's
good
my
to
pleasure.
see you all this morning.
Yes, indeed, indeed. So I just want to go like this. And can you make my screen big for just a second there, Peter?
Yeah,
okay,
absolutely.
so this is where we're at today, guys. We have got our Q&A paint along with Dianna, and it's going to be so fun. You're going to have a good time, and hopefully you'll see how you can approach the same subject from two different ways, and it's going to be really great. I want you to see that we do have a catch-up day because we've got your homework due on Monday at 8 a.m., and we're going to give away let's see what I don't remember what the prize is that day. Oh, the iPad and pencil. It's going to be awesome. And so look forward to that. This is what's happening today. And of course, you know that we have the membership open right now, which is going to transform your painting when you take that commitment, make that commitment and join us, because we do this regularly. And you're going to see today that when you see Dianna paint and you get around enough environment, that it will make a massive difference in your life and in your painting. So anyways, thanks for being here. It's super fun. And it's always our joy and privilege to be able to work with somebody like Dianna. So, again, Dianna, thank you so much for being here today, and it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
So you tell Peter, I'm handing it over to you so that you can kind of lead the discussion and everything like that.
Yeah, sounds good.
Here we go. Oh, look, I cheated. I drew.
Hey. Hey. What did you draw with?
Just a piece of charcoal. I'm going to seal it on with a little bit of glazing liquid so it doesn't come off. But I was looking at the reference photo, and I felt like I wanted to recompose it a little bit and have it just a slightly different composition. So I just put some, placed some things on here in a little bit different way, and just, it's not, look at it, it's just charcoal. I'm just going to use a little bit of glazing medium to fix that drawing on. And so I'm just going to pour a little bit down here, just a tiny bit, and brush it on my lines. They're going to smudge, but that's okay. I just wanted to place everything. I was remembering from the other day to cut this into like a tic-tac-toe board, and I wanted my focal point to be right at the tip of the boat here, so I put it in that focal area. And so I'm just going to do this while we're talking.
Oh, man. I don't even have my paints out, so you've got a real head start on me.
I did this morning while I was drinking my coffee. I said, I should probably
Jed's
put some
slacking,
paints out.
man.
I know. Well,
Jed, it's not like you haven't been working all week.
Well, you guys want me to confess what happened?
Yes.
Yes.
So
yes.
I'll just be honest with. Oh no, I'm too embarrassed. Oh my goodness. So what happened is that I painted on my. I did my my demo yesterday, and then after I stayed on a little bit longer, and we kind of answered some more questions, and I just kept kind of working on it, even though I didn't necessarily feel like I had real specific thoughts on how I was making it better. I just kept doing it, totally against the things that I always say. and then the class got over, and I just kept working on it. And I just kept working on it and working on it and working on it. And it was like getting worse and worse, and it kept changing and getting worse, and I kept trying to get it back. And I was like, at a certain point, you feel so invested in it because you spent so long at a certain point that you're kind of thinking, I can't give up on it now, can I?
So the good old sunk cost fallacy.
That's what happened to me. And so why I'm bringing that up is because I had made such a mess out of my palette by that time, and I'd put tons of paint on and scraped around and all sorts of stuff, and it had kind of been, I don't know. So I just threw that away yesterday, and that's why I'm starting over.
Gotcha. Someone asks, did Dianna do an underpainting? It looks like a white canvas.
It's a white canvas. And I'm going to do an underpainting really quick here. I'm going to do something different than what we've been doing all week. I'm putting on a bright orange
Ooh, nice.
underpainting. And then I'm going to try to do a value study right on my underpainting, sort of like we did in black and white, but just a little more like a watercolor. Just put on some, here we go. Just going to put on, using water and a little bit of that acrylic glazing mediums to push it around.
Sounds good.
Here we go. Put that underwash on.
Do we have to post our homework in the Facebook group to be legible? I've seen a couple questions. Yes, you do. So post your homework and submit it to the dashboard, and you'll be all good to go for the prize.
Yeah, that's technically not true. I'm sorry, Peter. I'm disagreeing with you, but there are some people who are not part of the Facebook group.
Oh,
and
yeah.
They are still part of the challenge. And so while we want everybody who is part of the Facebook group to post it there, and we would love for you to join the Facebook group, we also understand that there's a substantial amount of people that aren't. So you can still post it on or turn in the homework on the group. Sorry for that, Peter.
Oh, no worries, no worries. So yeah, there you have it. So you you're strongly encouraged to post it.
Yes.
But also, this is not homework, guys. This is just a demonstration with Dianna and
this
Jed.
is,
so this isn't homework.
Thanks for saying that, though, Peter, because this is actually a good chance for you to, if you just want to paint along and do your own homework or do something while we're painting. That's totally awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to catch up on some homework, feel free to. Yeah, post it to the dashboard. Upload it to the dashboard. Diana's colors are scrolling across the bottom. So that might be kind of hard to see for you guys. I'll read them off. So titanium white, quinacridone red, or quinacridone primary red, cadmium yellow medium, ultramarine blue, phthalo blue, green shade, phthalo blue green shade, and that's it. There you have it. Diana's going to be done before Jed gets going. I know.
Wow.
Jed hasn't done a single brush stroke.
I haven't done anything. I'm falling behind.
No, I'm just putting in the values right now. That's it.
I now have everything almost ready.
Oh boy.
I'll tell you what I'm gonna do, guys. Just to, because I'm gonna kind of do the same idea that we did the other day. I'm gonna do a grayscale painting, and then I'm going to paint over the top of that.
Oh, cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
David says Jed has gone very minimalist here.
Yes, very minimalist.
I signed up for the year membership at Acrylic University. So excited to learn. We are so excited to have you, Lynn.
Yeah, awesome. There have been so many signups. It's been really fun to see people come in at all different monthly, annual, lifetime.
Yep.
So awesome.
Yeah, congratulations and thank you for joining us on this journey. A few people are asking what glazing medium you added to your paint, Diana.
Oh, I'll show it to you real quick. Liquitex, acrylic mediums, glazing medium, This is a giant bottle. You don't need a bottle this big.
Yeah, and I think Jed has something kind of like that too.
Yeah, and I just use it so my paints will stick to the canvas better when I'm using a little water in them.
Kathy, do we have to do the boat? No, you don't. You can paint whatever you want. This is not a homework session. Whatever painting you want to work on, maybe you have to catch up on some homework or something like that. Feel free to do that during this session. So,
And this is one of the examples from day 2 that you could do. So if you want to use this reference photo, you're very welcome to. But
yes.
yeah, you don't have to by any means. Let's see.
Little finger painting.
Yeah, there you go.
Now, I'm going to start mixing color.
Welcome to all the new members. You're going to love the experience. Yeah, absolutely. Acrylic University is awesome. Do you have information on palette knife paintings in your classes? Asks Lisa Cook.
Yeah. I basically use this spatula thing instead of a palette knife, but it runs about the same.
It's functionally
way.
the same thing.
Yeah. I just don't drag my knuckles through the paint when I use this thing. That's all.
But Diana uses her, her palette or that color shaper a lot in her courses and stuff. So. Okay, does Diana use heavy body acrylics? Yes, she does. What is Jed using to draw with? He's using an acrylic paint marker. And
it's a Liquitex paint marker.
Yeah.
This one is just happens to be blue. It's the only one I could find.
How do you choose the underpainting color?
For me, I was looking at all the greens and blues, and I wanted a pop of something warm. I wanted it to feel like a warm day. So anywhere there's not a heavy coat of paint, some of this undercolor is going to pop through. You don't have to do it. I just like to have a little bit of warmth showing through underneath. How about you, Jed?
Totally depends kind of on the painting and the mood that I'm thinking about, like for the painting. But yeah, like sometimes if it's a very cool or nondescript painting or day or scene, I think warm colors underneath. I mean, I generally tend to go with the warmer colors for an underpainting, but every once in a while I like to try different things, and so I remember taking a workshop with Ovanis Berberian, and he painted everything with a very light blue underpainting, and I have really never adapted that into what I do, but his paintings are gorgeous. And I don't know. I think it is kind of an important question, and then kind of I feel like you can paint over anything just about, as long as you kind of figure out how to make it work with the painting, with the scene that you're doing. So sometimes I think people think more about it than they need to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When I'm thinking about it, the main consideration is I don't want to put a color down that's going to interfere with the way I'm seeing the rest of the colors. Like I wouldn't put a bright purple or a brilliant red on here just because I would have a hard time seeing how the other colors are going to work.
That's kind of what I feel like with the blue that I saw those other people use. It feels like a really vibrant, I don't know what color, I can't remember for sure what they use, but it feels like they use a phthalo blue, very light though. I mean, almost like what I have down here, but over the whole thing. And I feel like that's a really strong color. And it feels very cool and would be hard for me to get rid of. So that's why I tend to not use it. But that's why I was saying, like, when I look at his paintings, they're very gorgeous, and they're often really colorful and really warm. And that's where it makes me kind of question, does it even matter? You know what I mean? Maybe I think about it more, but I get what you're saying completely.
Yeah. One thing I've done in the past is take a canvas like this. This is a square, and I just tape it into 4 pieces and try out 4 different underwashes, and then paint the same thing 4 times and see what it looks like. It really helps.
I think that's the best idea.
And it also helps you to know it really doesn't matter that much, like you were saying.
But I do think that then you're able to see exactly what happens with each of them. And I actually have recommended that to people before because of the same reason. Like, people, you don't know until you try a color. So that's why I think, maybe you will love painting on a black surface, but you don't know until you try. Maybe you'll love painting on a red surface or an orange surface, but you don't know if you never try it. And so I totally think doing them side by side, 4 different versions of the same painting, the same scene, trying to paint the same, like not changing anything really except for the underpainting. Oh man, that's a great way to experiment with that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look, I'm just going crazy color mixing with my 3 primaries and a little phthalo. I'm coming up with some really fun colors for this. I love that it's in black and white. I can just do anything.
Yes.
Someone asked, is Jed using a flat or a bright? The bristles look really small or short.
No, it's a flat.
Does Diana mix all her colors before she starts painting?
Not all of them. A good portion, I was just doing this because it is in black and white, and I want to see how the colors are going to relate to each other. I will usually mix fewer, and I like to mix right on the canvas. A lot of times it looks better and less, if you stir too much, the paint gets kind of dull looking. So I like to just have some fresh brush marks on here. But yeah, we'll see how this goes. I'm inventing a lot. I made up all this extra stuff back here to try to lead the eye in, and then I'm going to have to figure out how those colors are going to work because I've made it all up. Oops.
So Diana, you use a handful of colors. Like, you have how many colors? Is it nine colors that you generally choose from in your painting? So do you want to talk a little bit about that? Yeah,
well, right now I'm using your colors from the workshop. If I can find my little paint box. I typically have, I have this box I got at the dollar store. It's like a little, I don't know, bead box. And I keep my colors in it squeezed out. But you can see I've got 3 yellows, 3 reds, 3 blues. A warmer yellow, which means it's got more red in it. A cooler yellow, which means it tends more towards daffodils than sunflowers. And then a more neutral or browny yellow. And I have the same 3 types of pigments in red. A warmer red, meaning it's just brighter and tends more orangey. That's naphthol red light. And then I have a cooler red. I'm almost out of it. I have to do an order this week. This is quinacridone magenta. And it's cool because it looks like it's got a little purple in it. It's bluer. And then I have a neutral red, A lot of people use burnt sienna, but instead of burnt sienna, I use quinacridone burnt orange. It's a little more transparent and it blends a little better with other colors but it's a brownier red. I don't know if you can see that well, but one is warm, one's cool, and one's, more brown. And then my blues, I have ultramarine, which leans towards the red side. It's a purplier color. I have phthalo blue green shade, which leans towards yellow. So it's a more yellowy blue. And then this one, I've had trouble finding lately. It's anthraquinine blue in some companies and indanthrone blue in other companies. It's the same color, but when you mix this color, I'll do it real quick. When you mix this color with white, it's a pure, like right out of here we go, I'll put it at the top. It's right in the middle blue, but when you add more color to it, it grays out. So it's a more neutral gray blue. I'm going to give a whole masterclass on these 9 colors. I think we were discussing it for March, is that right?
Yeah.
But I can mix every color I see, pretty much every single color that I've ever seen from these 9 plus titanium white. I don't even use black. Oops, that's gross. But I will reveal all in the March masterclass. And I keep them in here, but if I'm not gonna paint often, I put this in a Ziploc bag. I put a little tiny piece of wet paper towel in here and slip this all in a Ziploc bag so these don't dry out. This is just a dollar store bin. So you can lose a lot of paint if you don't pay attention to that. For Jed's class, I got another one here for this master class, and I have the colors that Jed recommended in this one. So I can, at the end of a painting day, I just take this ball of paint off my palette and scoop it back in if it's not too messed up. See, just like that. And then I don't waste it. It doesn't dry out.
You want to know what's funny? I'm not using my palette today. I changed one of my colors.
What color did you change? This is
natural red instead of quinacridone red. Isn't that funny? Now, the reason I did
That's
it,
hilarious.
part of it, you know how it took me so long to get set up?
Yeah.
Well, I was trying to find my red and I couldn't find it, so I just put that out. But by the way, I'm more caught up now. Ha ha ha.
Okay.
That was a little trick.
We better hurry.
I made you explain a bunch of stuff, and then I just kept painting. So I need to give you another thing to really. Can you go get another example of something that you will have to explain to us?
No. Nope.
Just joking.
Well, I'm just inventing some kind of a softly colored sky. Using my phthalo blue-green shade and a lot of white. I mixed up a little bit of a warm color. Oops, not that one. Just got into some green. I'm gonna mix up a little bit of warmy, lighty, white, yellow color to put on the horizon.
Okay, so I'm surprised the paint doesn't dry up in the bead box. A couple of people are asking if the paint stays wet in your bead box, essentially, Diana.
Yes, it does. As long as I make sure it's deep enough. Air is the enemy. I'll show it again. Here you go, Jed.
Yes.
See, these are too low. I have to refill. Air is the enemy. If you get air in here, it'll dry them out. But they're really thick. These are like an inch deep. And where the paint is thick, it takes long to dry out. But I use this box every single day. If I don't, again, I put a little piece of paper towel. It adds moisture without watering the paint down. I close it up and put it into a Ziploc bag, and it stays wet. I've had this one going
Wow.
for 2 years. It didn't dry out. I take this traveling, I put it in a Ziploc bag and throw it in my suitcase. I take it plein air painting. It gets out in the hot sun. I just make sure it gets shaded. So it doesn't, as long as you take care of the basics, which is keep
Yeah.
a little moisture in here and keep it zipped up, it won't dry out. If you neglect that, you will lose. This is like $200 worth of paint in here. You'll lose a lot
Yeah.
of paint. So don't do that. If you think you're not going to paint, don't use this. If you do like me and you want to put out tons of paint to mix with, then get a box like this, because this will save you a lot of money scooping your leftover paint back
Yeah.
in the box when you're done.
Will Diana's class on color be free to members of Acrylic University? Yes, it will. That'll be the next
you
master
bet.
class, guys. The next master class is going to be an all new master class on color. So some of you might have been here for both master classes, and there were some similarities. This next one, there'll definitely be similarities, but all new content. So. Let's see here. Yeah, the spatula thing she's mixing with is just a color shaper that you could find at, I mean, any art store pretty much.
Any art store. This one's relatively new, so you can still see the word catalyst on it. My old one, I don't think it's by Catalyst, but I have no idea what brand this is because it's 20 years old. And you can see it's really gunky. It has this nice tip, though, that really cleans off with warm water. It just comes completely clean. But it's, you know, they don't wear out ever. This one's 20 years old, not like brushes. They just don't wear out. But I am going to use a brush to block in my ideas. Oops. Warmer.
I've had watercolor in a box like that get moldy. Do acrylics have less tendency to mold?
Not the high
Yeah.
quality ones. I've had mold problems with the student grade, especially yellow ochre.
Yeah, that's interesting. I do think that some colors, like it must be the pigment, have a worse time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm almost ready to bring out some color.
There you go. Somebody says, Jed, thank you for modeling a grayscale painting. I know I'll be doing more of it.
Oh, good. Yeah, I think it's kind of an interesting way to paint. And what I was planning to do today is I'm actually going to turn off my microphone for a second. I'm going to dry this, and I'm going to do what I talked about the other day, but I never did it. But I'm going to just come over the whole thing with a glaze. And so we'll see it instantly transform, and then I'll paint over that. So
cool.
I will now mute my microphone.
I wish I was watching Jed.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I can see you over there. Yes. Okay. So I'm using a big brush. I think this is a number 12 by Princeton. Again, it's old, so I can't see the number anymore, but I think it's a number 12.
Jeb, when you do a grayscale painting, do you cover the entire canvas, or are you just painting the main elements? He's just painting the main elements. You can see that he's leaving some gray poking through, but it's actually the gray that he's leaving poking through still matches the values in the painting pretty closely. So That's what Jed was talking about. Somebody asked yesterday why he doesn't use white canvas. And when you have a white canvas, you have to cover everything to control where your lights are coming from, right? You have to make sure that there's no white shining through if you don't want lights in that area. But whereas with a gray canvas, it's kind of a mid-tone, so he doesn't have to cover everything, right? He can work the gray into his painting.
Perfect description.
Guys, I'm curious. I'm just going to do a poll real quick. I want to know what your guys' favorite masterclass session was. So I'm just going to do a poll with the different sessions, and I want to know which one you guys enjoyed the most. And I'll leave that poll up there for a bit. Mold grew on the sponge and the Mastersons. Yeah, you can use a penny or like a little bit of peroxide in your water when you're soaking the sponge to prevent that from happening.
I don't use a sponge. I use 2 layers of this blue paper towel soaked. And then if I need to switch it out, I just lift out the palette paper and put some new paper towel in. Because it's not expensive.
Yeah.
Like the sponge is. And it works just as well. And I can rinse it and reuse it as many times as I want.
One, but the others taught me more. 2, 3. So currently 2 is the clear winner, which that doesn't surprise me. The learning how to use values and the limited palette is super eye-opening. I like them all, but liked session 2 the most, or 2 best, learned the most. But that truly is a hairline between each and enjoyment and learning. So glad you guys enjoyed it. I liked 1 because I did better with that painting. Yeah, I totally get that. Someone said 1 was my favorite, but I learned the most from 2. Yeah, absolutely. So glad you guys enjoyed it. Yeah, so think of session 2 as like a little like a shallow puddle compared to what we're going to cover in color for the next master class. Okay, so we have a question. Can you explain the brush numbering system? Do the numbers actually correspond to a measurement, or are they arbitrary? It seems that different brush companies use different systems.
For brush sizes?
Yeah.
You know, I've come across that a couple times. One time I was going to a workshop and he said to buy a number 1 round or a number 2 round or something. And I ordered it, and it was a gigantic round brush. I probably still have it. Actually, maybe he just made a mistake in his numbers, because now I'm looking at it and it says a number 10. But I think it might have been in his, like, this is about the right size, in my opinion, for a number 10 round. But I think when he put it in, the size he was thinking was like a smaller one. So I don't actually know if, Diana, have you come across that? Different companies using different numbers for the same size?
You know, it's so weird because I have used these Princeton brushes so long, I can't even remember buying other brushes.
That's kind of the same thing here.
So, Jed uses the...
I use the Catalyst.
What kind do you use? The Catalyst? Yeah. I use the Snap. And basically, it's a nice acrylic brush. The tips stay good. They're really cheap, which is why I like them. They're harder to find. But but they're also by Princeton. And I love these flats. And this is a number 12. And it's about an inch wide. I think I bought a wash brush. This one came in a pack at Michael's. It was really inexpensive in a pack. Best, B-E-S-T-E, and it just has the size, 2 inches. So I think that's the only other one I bought in so long. I can't remember. So I'm going to do something here. So wouldn't you know, I would do something totally out of my comfort range for this.
What are you saying? I don't think that there's anything out of your comfort range because you're so amazing. But we all feel uncomfortable in different ways, don't we?
Get my colors up. I'm being a little indecisive about colors. So I'm just trying to get my color ideas out, and I keep changing my ideas. Going, oh no, warm. Oh no, cool. Oh no, sand. Oh no, grass.
Yeah, so a lot of people asking about the glaze or the wash that Jed added.
Okay, it was transparent red iron oxide. It's a golden color, and I sprayed just a little mist of water on there, and then I just dripped the paint. It's a fluid paint, and I just dripped it over the top, and then just painted it over, and then I came back with a paper towel and took off some of the glaze, some of the pigment. Just like, first person I learned how to glaze from was Robert Gann, a great Canadian artist, and he would say, it's not the amount of glaze, it's not the glaze you put on that matters, it's how much you take off. And so you can kind of think of it like you're going to influence the whole painting with a glaze. Like everything changed, right? It went from totally gray to now there's a fair amount of color on there. It doesn't look gray anymore. But depending on where you leave the glaze, it could be darker or lighter, right? And the cool thing about a glaze is that you can do multiple glazes. You can try different mixtures of colors, and they all kind of interact and create really fun different shades and different things. So I like glazing. I don't do it that often, to be honest. It's kind of interesting, but you get into ways of painting, and sometimes glazing is an extra step. And but when you have a totally gray canvas, it's a great way to cover a lot of it fast.
And just add color to it. Somebody asked why he didn't do an opaque glaze, and if he did an opaque glaze, it would totally ruin the values of his painting.
It would change. It would alter everything more. This might slightly darken things a little bit, but an opaque glaze would. I guess, I mean, you can do it. You just are watering it down or thinning it down quite a bit, but it will generally tend to. It's not as see-through, so you have to thin it down a lot more, and then it's just a different approach. I mean, you could try it. You can always try anything, right? That's my thought is, if you want to see what it's like,
exactly.
Go for it.
Yeah. That's what we've talked about a lot in this class, guys, is don't be afraid to experiment with your paints. Like, get to know them, and they will treat you well.
Yeah.
Can you make a glaze by taking a gloss medium and adding color?
Yeah, I mean,
sure
basically, you can. I mean, it's like these are fluid acrylics, and I don't work for the company. I don't have any technical knowledge per se, but what I think they do is they just add more medium to it, and so or they use a different kind of medium that's thinner. But the pigment is the same and everything like that. So yes, if you want to use your heavy body paints and find, like, I mean, I've done it before. Like, say I take a color like this. This is dioxazine purple or dioxazine violet. You can look at the back. It's a transparent color. I could mix a little bit of this into a container. I could put in a lot of or some medium and maybe even something like this. I mean, you could try all sorts of different stuff. This is satin glazing liquid, or you could just try some something like this, which is just a medium, and it will create. You can just mix it together. You just have to mix it. That's the only thing, is if you buy it pre-mixed in the fluid acrylics, it's pre-mixed. You don't have to think about it as much.
Yeah. A couple people have asked, Jed, you mentioned an artist that does their underpainting in blue or something like that.
Yeah.
Or draws in blue, and they just what was
Wondering
the name
who
of that
it is?
artist? Yeah.
It's Ovanes, Ovanes, Berberian, Berberian. I think that's right. Berberian.
Ovanes
Yeah.
Berberian.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, I hope you're enjoying seeing these two paintings come to life. They're totally different. They're done by two different artists, right? And so their style is cool, seeing both their styles come to life and stuff.
And go ahead.
Fun. This is. Oh no, it's
It
so
is fun. And Diana, you painted on a square canvas also, so your perspective or your composition is going to be a little different just because of that too.
Yep. Yeah, to me, the reference photo was kind of divided up into like the dirt and the grass were even pieces, and the boat felt a little centered. And so I just thought I would try to create a sand dune and then a path out to the beach that made some X marks that lead you to the focal point, which would be right there on the boat, that lightest white, the dark, the chain coming down. That will be my focal point, and everything else is gonna lead up to that. I'm not very well versed at the shape of boats.
Yeah, boats are tricky.
So I have to really watch my drawing.
Boats are honestly probably
are.
One of the hardest things that I've encountered painting, because it's just like one little thing about the angle changes the way that it looks so much. And this is a broken boat nonetheless, so it's like part of it is kind of cracked, and I don't know.
Well, my daughter is a ship captain. She sails tall ships.
Wow.
And in the South Pacific a lot, and she would, just be going, oh, Mom, this is so
sure.
Because she knows boats. It's like figure painting. You instantly know when a human figure is wrong, because you look at them so much. And you may not know how to fix it, but you know that it's wrong. It's the same way with boats. So
for the person who knows it, right?
If I'm gonna right? For me, if I'm going to paint it, I'm going to have to, study the shape and size of boats, just to, the proportions. But that doesn't mean I can't paint it. I'm just going to have to be aware that it might look really funky.
That's why I love drawing things like tree roots and stuff like that, because they're imperfect on their own.
They're so organic.
And they're chaotic, so you can get away with a lot, and the result looks a lot better. Whereas like a person, you instantly know if that's like you're saying.
Right. You instantly know. Instantly know if it's wrong. So
very true. Yeah, it's funny. I came across an old painting of mine the other day of it was from a workshop I took on portraits. And it was such a hard workshop for me. It was honestly just the hardest thing. I mean, if you've hung around me and you've heard me talk about it, I have said this many times. It was totally for all the reasons that you're just saying. You know when you mess up somebody's face. Like, nobody cares if this sagebrush or whatever this stuff is back there, you know, like is a little bit different or a little bit off. Like, nobody's going to think, oh, he really screwed up that. But when you get somebody's face wrong, like it is, everybody knows. And it's like you're trying to, if you don't know, like for me, I never really painted people. And so I had zero of the kind of like the understanding of, I think the more you paint people, you know a few certain tricks. You know a few certain things that, okay, like this is the way that the face is generally composed. And so if it's looking off, I can double check, are these measurements correct according to like the general rule or whatever. I had none of that. And so I just felt like I was kind of like guessing. So if I'm seeing it's not looking right, I'm like, okay, something's not right, but I have no idea, how to fix it. But it was so fun because it was so hard. I had so much fun in that class. And it was, anyways, I came across one of my old, images from that where I have a painting here that I did. It's on like the back of another painting because I painted on the other side of it. And so there's this guy. Let me see if I can find it. But I'll actually show it to you guys if I can find it here. It's but I was like, at least it looks like a person,
Right?
Oh my goodness.
Oh, that's funny. I spent so many years, like 15 years studying with different teachers, portrait and figure work. And it's still a challenge.
There it is.
You have to keep it up. Oh, I want to see it. Let me see.
Who is it? I mean, I don't know who it is.
It's wonderful.
You know what's funny though is that we did. I'm trying to think of how many we did that week. I know we did. Anyways, one of the other guys, I painted this other guy, and he bought it. He wanted to buy it from me, that was kind of cool. I was like, well, at least it was good enough that maybe he wanted to burn it though. Maybe he was like, this needs to never be seen again.
Yeah. There's a scene there's a scene in The Crown, season 1 of The Crown on Netflix. The Crown is about the royal family, and this one I think was about Queen Elizabeth and Churchill and all that stuff. And there's a scene where Churchill hires a portrait artist to draw a portrait of him. And I don't know how historically accurate this was or not, but when he saw the portrait, he like ripped it to pieces.
Oh, really?
And I think the implication there was like, in some ways when you're
a famous person's portrait.
Yeah, but also like in some ways when you're painting a portrait, you're kind of saying something about the person in a way.
Oh, interesting.
And I think that's totally true. I mean, you're interpreting them and painting them, right? So like you're totally saying something about the person when you're painting them.
Very interesting. Yeah, and it could be flattering or very not flattering.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. Which didn't have anything to do with the artist's skill necessarily, just how he interpreted Churchill. It was super interesting.
Yeah.
Where are you guys finding all these workshops, tutors, and mentors? Just look around. No, I don't know. That's a good question. Yeah, they're
everywhere.
I would say it probably. Honestly, I haven't. I go to Scottsdale Artist School every once in a while. They've got a good list of instructors that come there regularly. That's a good resource to know about. honestly, the other day somebody asked the question, like, will you guys ever have a live in-person thing? And we would love to. Like, I think about it all the time. I think it'd be super fun. We actually were talking about trying to do one this coming summer, and I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that gets tricky, like to just timing and everything and other schedules and blah, blah, blah. But it would be like, the thing I love about it is because I don't know, I think it'd be fun, but you have to have the right kind of venue. That's one of the main things. When I'm going down to take a workshop in Scottsdale in April, and I was talking with Renee about renting an Airbnb or renting a place that's big enough to host like a workshop or something. Because I'm thinking, or just try to talk to the Scottsdale Artist School and rent one of their rooms, because I feel like doing that kind of thing is really fun. But I think it's been harder. I started out to say this. I think it's been harder to find live in-person workshops. I mean, Dianna used to do workshops all the time. Like, yeah.
All the time,
and
yeah.
I don't know if you've done one since the pandemic started, so.
Yeah.
Nope, not at all.
Yeah.
Just been here. We've been really careful because my husband had an immune system issue a few years ago. So we've been super, super careful. And then I've had pneumonia just from, when I've been teaching, I usually come down with something when I'm done. And so I've been really careful too. So we've just been hanging out for a while. Although he's a musician, he just went and played a live gig last night in Seattle.
Nice.
So I was so happy. It feels like things are shifting. But I was going to say, when I first started in acrylics in 97, I think it was, or something like that, I was switching from oil to acrylic and had no clue how to use the medium. Absolutely no clue. And there were no teachers at all available in acrylics. So what I see with, I'm doing this plug, but what I see with Acrylic University is this is specific to the medium, and it includes all of this information you would get from both realist teachers and impressionist teachers. And even you can utilize the ideas that we bring out in abstract and, even surrealist things or cartooning, because there's visual ideas here that you need and tools that you need no matter what your method. But as far as having, I know there are great acrylic instructors now, but back then, not so much. But I really see Acrylic University as being a huge bridge for people to either change their medium or to start in a medium that makes a lot of sense.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's cool.
I love this. I love this medium. It's wonderful. I absolutely love acrylics.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Me too. I'm a fan.
Somebody said, I hate to think of the portrait artist that displeased the queen or the king.
Oh, man.
Yeah, oops.
Gotta make sure that one's flattering. One thing I just wanted to mention, guys, if I'm reading one of your questions or something like that and I chuckle while I'm reading it, it's probably because of some inside joke or something like that. I'm not laughing at your expense or anything like that. We had somebody, I think in the first session where I was I was laughing because I think what they asked is, should I switch from oils to acrylics? And I was just kind of chuckling to myself because we're huge proponents of acrylics.
Yeah.
And so, we're biased. We would tell anybody, switch to acrylic.
I know. Yeah.
But they thought that I was laughing at their expense, which I can totally see how. So I just wanted to throw that out there that I'm definitely not laughing at your expense.
Yeah.
Just for your information, Peter would never do that. He's just too nice a guy. He's just way too nice a guy to do that. Unless you were like totally, hanging
Yeah.
out with him or something. And you
Yeah.
guys were joking around, but he would never do that.
You seal your paintings with anything. Yeah, Jed uses gloss varnish.
Yes. I use a mixture of satin and gloss. He sprays it, I brush it. So, yes, but absolutely. Acrylics are really fragile. And they scratch. The paint can scratch. And the paint also dries in a variety of glossinesses. The paint also can be removed if someone gets too crazy with the Windex. So it's important to have a glaze on the top that will seal the paint in, protect it from dust and dirt and damage. And so whatever you choose, whether it's a spray or a brush on, it really needs to happen if you want to preserve your painting. It's just an important, varnishing is an important part of the process. It doesn't have to happen to every painting. But, Michael just brought me another cup of coffee. Yay. But that, that is for the paintings that you end up wanting to keep. I mean, can I describe my process for preserving paintings? Because I use a coating underneath that seals the painting entirely, and I let that dry 24 hours. Then I get out a varnish, and I've been recently using, this is from Cheap Joe's, because it's the varnish I could find. Really good, but it turns out to be really good varnish. Once that undercoating dries, I mix this with satin, because it's not quite so, this ends up looking a little plasticky. The spray varnish doesn't so much, but I mix it with a little satin, and that takes care of it. I varnish the entire piece, make sure I've signed it and photographed it. And then, once that's dry, I have some clear bags. I slip it into a clear plastic bag with the name on the back of the piece and store it so that they can't get damaged, dusty, dirty. I do mine on wood, and I put my name on the back and the name of the piece. And then I put it on a shelf with the plastic bag on it, varnished and ready to go, so it can move out if it, in a day's notice, if it needs to move out, if it needs to go, it's ready to go. But the pieces that I know are good, the pieces that I know I'm proud of, that I love, and there's not a ton of those. It's one of my teachers, William F. Reese, wonderful, wonderful artist. He said one time that he, even after he'd been painting 50 years, sometimes only 1 out of 10 paintings he liked enough to want to put out there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that, you don't have to love everything. You just have to keep going.
Yeah, we have a few really good questions. But then I was going to ask, so you said you studied like portraiture and stuff like that for 15 years or so?
Yeah. Yes.
And I'm sure the more you did, the more confident you got with it. I just want to ask, do you sometimes, all it takes is repetition, and I think that can get undervalued a lot by people. I'm just wondering, how did you feel like that when you were studying portraiture? How did your confidence grow over time, and how long did that take and stuff like that?
That's a really great question. And the fact is that I had some fabulous teachers, and one of them had me, in just life drawing sessions. So if you've never been to a life drawing session, it's just a model comes, they stand in front of you, hit a pose, and you draw them fast, 1 minute. But he had me have a piece of charcoal in each hand and a life-sized piece of paper on the floor. And I did that over and over and over with my 2 hands, following along the musculature of the arms and the legs and the head and the, with these 2 pieces of charcoal, over and over, felt the rhythm of both the figure, the body, how the elbow, where it actually comes to the waist and how far down the belly button is from the chin and all of that, how far down the nose is from the forehead, to get a feel of it. I also studied anatomy at one point through an art school where they brought us cadaver casts, which they made casts of dead people that we drew over and over and over. The musculature, the bone structure, all of that, because I was into it. You don't have to do that. I was just into how do you do, and every time I went to a workshop, every time I learned a little more, I gained in confidence. And so you can start, if you're good at observing, if you're really good at looking and observing, you can get started right away. You don't need all those fancy classes. That's not the point. But what that helped me do was immediately when I saw something was wrong in a painting or a drawing, I could say, oh, the space between the eyes is off, or my eyes are not on the same horizon line, or, whatever it was that I was doing that was off could be adjusted because I had that background. Just like in landscape or in this kind of painting, we're going to know that, oh, my values, something's wrong with this painting. What is it? Oh, my values are off. Once you've had this master class, you're going to be able to know that. And so that's kind of where I'm coming from, is just as you take one class, you get a little stronger. You take another class, you get a little stronger. And, paintings that I was really proud of 10 years ago, I look now and go, oh, dear. However, you have to have confidence to keep growing. And so there's no reason why you can't be proud of the progress you've made, even if it doesn't look like you're, and we're gonna grow as artists. There's no, if you're practicing with intention every day, if you're deciding that, today I'm gonna work on my loose brushwork, or today I'm gonna work on my values, or whatever, practicing with intention, you're gonna grow. No matter what, you're gonna grow. And so that doesn't devalue what you did earlier on. It only makes that more precious because it's all steps along the way. Riding a bike, we just laugh at the fact that we crashed so many times. We don't devalue it.
Yeah.
We had to have Mom or Dad hold the back of the bike while we, rode down the hill, and then, whoa, we teetered down, and then we crashed at the bottom and had to get a Band-Aid, and it's all part of the process. And that's why we're painting too. We may not do it right the first time, like me with this chain shadow, but we'll get it right.
Don't you also kind of feel like, sometimes there have been a few times that I can look back at a few different paintings along the way, and I think, I don't know how I did that back then.
Oh, geez.
Because a lot of times, we look back and we're like, oh, I used to think that was a really good painting, and now I don't think that. But then every once in a while, I look back at a painting, and I think, I wish I could do that still. I don't know how I did that back then. Maybe it's,
Those magic moments, yes. I have some of them where I've never been able to recreate the magic, and it turns out because it wasn't a technique.
Just being in the moment.
It was a mental Mental headspace,
Yeah.
being in the moment, being totally connected
Yeah.
to the moment, rather than knowing a specific technique, and being connected with what you're seeing on
Yeah.
such a deep level.
Which is why I think it reinforces what you're saying, because I do think that those moments come. I think that they come unexpected times, and I think that they're there for maybe more than one reason. But one of the effects that happens is I think it does give you courage to keep going on. Because art is
Right.
hard, and learning is hard, and it's easy to feel discouraged, like, oh, I'm not learning anything. But I think you get, every once in a while, I've felt like that, at least, like I have an experience where it's like, oh my goodness, like that really turned out well. I don't know how I did that or anything like that. But it gives me some confidence to keep going, because it's like, I did it once, maybe I can do it again. And I don't know, but they're kind of fun little happy moments along the way. Even if you're not consistently able to do it as well as that.
That's right. I at one point tried every trick in the book. I tried to recreate the music that was happening, recreate the time of day, recreate what I had just eaten. How did I get there? How did I do this wonderful thing? And it really is just a practice of letting go, of being in the moment. That moment, my very best painting, it won a bunch of awards, and I absolutely loved that painting. The moment I remember doing it, I just had given up caring about the outcome. I was in this magical, beautiful space in my art space, and I just was painting. I wasn't thinking about painting. I was just painting. And I don't know how, some people call it being in the zone, being in the flow, being connected. I don't know what you want to call it, but there is that bit of just entering
Flow state,
that secret
I've heard a lot about that.
space inside of you. And I've actually taught some classes on flow. I have a little bit of it on my blog, on my website, about flow and how to access it, because that's the secret sauce right there. It's a thing inside of yourself and not a technique. Technique is important.
Yeah.
Technique is important. learning to paint is, because you need to have these things in your hands. And more so, like being an athlete, you need to have practiced so much that, you don't even think about what you're doing anymore. You just do it.
Yeah, thanks for that. That was awesome. So I just want to answer a couple questions. One was about the membership. Can you pay on a month-to-month basis? Yes, you absolutely can. And if you want to upgrade to annual or lifetime, you can do that at any time. So if you want to take it month by month and see if you like it, that is totally an option for you. And will this be available for replay? Yes, it will on the dashboard and on the YouTube channel. Somebody asked Dianna if you were. Oh, sorry. I'll get to this. This one first. Do you photograph your painting before you varnish?
Yes. I do. Varnish makes it harder to see because of just the glare that's going to come off. So I almost always try. I do. There have been times in the past where I can say I didn't because I wasn't thinking properly, and then I regretted it. And you can get away with it. And I don't know, maybe unless Dianna says differently. I generally try to do it that way, where I take a picture first, but it's because it's easier when it's not glossy.
Yes. It's so much easier when it's not glossy. Yes. In fact, a bunch of my paintings that I hadn't glazed or varnished were just sitting around in my storage space, and I built a little photo booth that would reduce glare. And I photographed all of them at the same time, just lined them up and just photographed them when I had a space that wasn't glary. And I just put up sheets and stuff to block out glary light. And just photoed them all. And then I set out a table, I lined them up, and then I varnished them all.
That's awesome. Yeah, if you can do stuff in batches, it's really helpful, isn't it? It's like,
oh my goodness, yeah.
Do either of you sell prints or just sell originals?
I have some prints available
Jed?
on a site called McGraw Graphics, but there's just a limited number. I generally don't sell prints.
Yeah. I have a few prints available on my website, which is run by FASO, which is a website set up for artists. Just started making prints, so the artist can have a large-scale photograph taken, upload that, and then the website takes care of everything through graphic dimensions. Whether it's printed on canvas or paper, they take care of the framing. And this just happened this week. So I just put 8 up just this week on my website.
That's pretty cool.
And yeah, so I was really happy because it's all hands off for me. People buy it. And then I don't have to run to the photographer or run to the print shop or, you know. It's just all really easy to do.
That's a pretty cool thing there, I have to say. Yeah.
That's a pretty cool thing.
Tracy says, if you purchase a yearly and then decide with a few months you want a lifetime, can you put the yearly payment towards the lifetime cost? We give you a month. So a month from we'll prorate whatever you pay within a month. So that should be plenty of time to try out everything and see if you like it. And you'll get access to 4 live sessions or something like that. So within a month, if you decide that you want to upgrade to a lifetime, then we'll prorate that towards the cost of a lifetime. Yeah, then we also have a payment plan for the lifetime if you want to do that, 3 payments of $400 something a month. If that is easier for you. If you go monthly and decide to do lifetime as a monthly that you pay deducted, same thing. So if you pay for 1 month, you have up to the end of the first month to prorate it to an annual or a lifetime.
Yeah, I totally recommend, doing that because it's like and if at the end of the month you decide you don't like it at all, you can just ask for your money back and we'll give you your money back. So it's kind of a easy, hopefully an easy way to feel like there's no risk to you.
Yeah.
You can check it out, see if it works. It's like buying a car, getting to take it home and drive it for a month before you actually have to commit to it.
Yeah, exactly. And
I love that. It makes it easier to think about doing it. There's so many scammy things online that it's hard to decide what you can trust. I love that.
And the cost of you won't find better value anywhere else for the lifetime for what you get. You'll get your money's worth in 2 weeks. If you were to go elsewhere for the same content. So
well, a lot of people, one of the things that I noticed is that a lot of people, they just like to get the lifetime because they don't want to have to think about it anymore. They just kind of want to go I'm in and it's done.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm not going to say any more about it because I would I'm biased. Hey, I'm biased. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
I'm biased. But yeah, it's
Somebody said that she told another artist she was switching to acrylics, and she made a comment about it or something like that.
Oh yeah.
And I was gonna say something like, "You guys gotta join us for the acrylic revolution."
Yeah.
Got to get some more acrylic representation out there.
Yeah, people do. What happens with some people is that they tried acrylics once. Like a lot of oil painters will try acrylics once and try to use them like oils, and then they'll hate them. And they're not oils. They're a completely different medium and need to be treated as such. And once you know the techniques, they're easier than oils, especially outside, especially in your studio, especially anywhere. I've done both, and I know how much ease, in everything, traveling. Oh my goodness.
Like we're on the same page with all that, because I feel like people like kind of make these, like they have assumptions about it. But I paint with so many people, and I'm like, okay, I'm done painting. Here, I'm just gonna pack it's my favorite thing to do is just be like, oh, you have to carry that little box to make sure that your painting is gonna be okay. Sorry about that. I could just, no, I'm not worried about wet paint. Like it's dry. Like, look at this. It's amazing, and it's just like little things like that. And I know that there are other things that you can do in oils that you can't do in acrylics. And I get it. And I understand why people would, if I was had been painting forever in oils and I'd been doing great and everything like that. And I would be hesitant to switch too. But it's like, if I was just starting out knowing what I know, I would be like, oh my goodness, like there are so many advantages to acrylics. And I'm just so thankful that I use them, like honestly.
Oh man, yeah, me too.
Oh, go ahead, Diane.
Go ahead. Oh, I was going to say, when I switched from oils to acrylics, I needed to, because the oils were impacting my health in a really negative way. They don't do that to everybody, but really I was having seizures, brain seizures from the oils. And so I had to quit. And I literally, I was at that point was a full-time working artist with galleries and things. Stuff was on the line. I mean, my professional life was on the line here, and I had a studio I was paying for. I had no idea if I could make this thing work. And what I did was I locked, because there were no teachers, I just locked myself in my studio for a month, turned off my phone. At that time I had, the phone's a plug in the wall. I unplugged it from the wall. And I learned how to do it.
That is crazy.
I just did it till I conquered the drying time. I conquered the problem with edges. When people say, oh, you just can't get good edges. Well, yes, you can. It's just different. And I had to really rethink it. It wasn't just an easy switch over like,
But that's amazing, because you were exactly in that place that I was just saying. Like you had been painting in oils, you had success in it, you had all that stuff, and you had to switch for health reasons.
Yes.
And that's what's honestly interesting. You're one of so many people that I've heard have had to switch for health reasons, and I've mentioned people like Mike Svaab. He switched for health reasons. He was getting headaches with the oil paints in his studio all the time. And John Poon, same thing, like something, he was having, I don't know if he had seizures, but he was developing, just worse symptoms and everything. And he was allergic to something in the oil. And so anyways, he switched. But what's funny is with both of those guys, with John Poon, I know that he eventually was able to get over his allergy. He did this treatment and he got over, but he didn't switch back because he likes the acrylics now and sees the advantages to him. So I think I feel like there's just a place for people to continue to try it out and and I think as more people do and they see, oh, like this is really cool.
Yeah.
It just grows and people are using it and it's a really awesome option for people.
Yeah.
It really is. It really is. I just absolutely love it. And it's a great, people have a hard time moving over to acrylics from watercolor too, because they forget to use their white. But it's all just part of learning to reuse a new medium. And I can't say enough about how wonderful acrylics have been for me. Right after I started using them, within a year, I already knew a lot of the concepts of painting, so I was there. But I was in 8 galleries, and not anymore. the times have changed. Yeah. But back then,
lots of galleries have shut down in the last. Who knows? I mean, there's all sorts of stuff that happens. There's always the world is ever changing. Yeah. And just when you think something is solid, it changes. But the thing that go ahead. No,
I was just gonna say, and with like digital art and everything coming in, taking a lot of prominence and like, I just wanted to one last comment before Jed says what he was gonna say about Diana locking herself in a room and like unplugging the phone and learning or teaching herself acrylics. I just want to say Diana is one of the hardest workers that I know.
Oh my goodness!
Like, she works relentlessly for her passion and for you guys. Like, I respect it so much. Like, she is absolutely relentless in how hard she works for her craft and for Acrylic University. So just want to thank her for that.
Well, yeah, thank you, Diana.
Thank you.
And honestly, that is something that can't be said with enough kind of enthusiasm or affirmation, because you guys who come, like, if you will put yourself in, you will find on our end that we have put ourselves in. And Diana is a perfect example of that, like how she puts so much effort into everything that she does. When you show up for one of her workshops, you are going to get world-class instruction. And there's no like, anybody who comes to them knows that. Like, you could ask any of our members, our current members, and they'll say, yep, that was so good, so worth it. I got so much out of it. And it's just like one little example of how her work ethic and effort and care. Honestly, the big part of it is her care for you guys, for the people who are in the class and in the workshops. I mean, so yeah, thanks, Diana, because honestly, there's stuff, like, there's a lot of good artists, and I feel like so thankful and blessed to have like met you and everything, because what you were talking about your experience is like what we both have experienced, is like we're trying to learn how to work specifically in acrylics, and there's not that much out there, and so that's why we started Acrylic University. And I was like, there got to be more people like me out there, and I think that I could offer something. But looking for fellow artists who have the same passion and are interested in the same thing. It's one thing to find great artists. It's another thing to find great teachers and people who care about people. And you are that. So.
Oh, gee, thank you. That's really sweet. Thank you so much. I feel like I've been blessed with this rare thing, because I studied in college was not art and not really education. I studied how people learn. That was my focus in college, was the studying how people learn across different cultures, across different age groups, and so it was fun to be able to apply that knowledge to this, this thing, which is now we can have a way to really absorb this information and make it our own, and it took me so long to get it because I had to learn it from scratch. This whole idea of composition, which is one of the courses in Acrylic University, none of my teachers taught me composition, not one. I was actually a juror in an art show, and one of the things I started noticing was there was a certain thing that the paintings that drew me to them, the paintings that ended up winning awards had, and I started asking, well, what is that thing? What is the thing that those paintings have? And it was a good composition. I actually studied the paintings that I gave awards to and said, what are they doing? And then getting books and reading books and, really studying what does it mean to have good composition.
That's awesome.
Anyway, that's just, it took me years to get to that point. And now you have all of my years of labor. If you're in Acrylic University, you just can go to the composition course, go through it. It's hours long. Sorry about that.
It's a long course.
But no reason to apologize because like you're saying, I mean, that's hours versus 20 years. So
years.
Yeah.
Hours versus years. Yep.
That's what I think is so great. And honestly, my dad tells me this all the time, but he says, man, the stuff that your students are doing is so impressive. Like, wow. And it was kind of funny because he jokes with me about this kind of stuff. He said something like, you're teaching too many people to be really good artists. And it's making it hard for me, because
your dad is awesome.
But
I knew Jed's dad before I met Jed. And his
totally.
dad is
But I think
absolutely
what he's saying is like there is a difference when you have the instruction, and I know that this always will come across as me and us trying to toot our own horn or whatever. But if I had the ability to learn at different points when I became a full-time artist, this is my story. I was a dad. We had Willow, our daughter, and I was trying to make a living as a full-time artist, and Renee wasn't working. It was just me, and I was scared. I wanted to make a living. I wanted to provide, and I didn't know how exactly I was going to do it, right? And all I knew was work hard, keep going. But I started thinking I need to take a workshop from an acrylic painter, right? Because at first I was thinking I needed to switch to oils. I just was like, well, maybe all the professional artists are oil painters and I just have to switch to oils. And I had a friend who's told me, he's like, man, I think you're really good at acrylics. You should stay with acrylics.
Thank God for that friend.
Yeah, I know. I was like so thankful for that in the end.
Yeah, right? Good friend.
But so then I started looking around for acrylic painters to learn from. And I lived in Indiana at that time. I didn't know anybody really in my area that painted in acrylics. I started reaching out across the nation and across, it's all over. And I couldn't find anybody, basically anybody who was still painting and doing stuff. I couldn't find them. And so that was the whole thing, that whole experience is what led me to start Acrylic University. Because when we got back here, I started teaching more, and I was like, oh man, there's a lot of people that might be interested in this. And it confirmed what I had already thought, maybe there are people. And so anyways, we started, but it was all because of the fact that there just was not that, I was looking for something specific that wasn't there. Mm-hmm. And I wish it was, because it would have made some things a lot easier.
Yeah, for sure. I just wanted to, or let's try. I want to get to a few more questions, so let's try to keep the answers a little bit shorter.
Oh yeah.
No worries.
yeah,
it's
sorry.
all fantastic. We're just running out of time a little bit. So could you please show each painting up close? Yes, at the end we'll do a larger. We'll show each painting larger. If you do month-to-month membership, can you skip a month if you're going to be traveling? Absolutely. Are all the lessons in Acrylic University more painterly in style? I tend to paint a more realistic style. Are the lessons that focus on realism rather than representational?
So we do have some, like we have, but it's not our normal. Like, I mean, I think Peter said the other day, like I am a more impressionistic kind of style. Diana's more like that also. But we do have people like Angela Bandurka, who has come in and done lessons with us. She did, just thinking how many, like a couple years ago or a couple summers ago, she did like 2 months, kind of the live workshops. And she's a very controlled artist, and it's much more, she did a still life. She did she might've done 2 still lifes, and she might've done one that was like it's like a marine, it was jellyfish. I was trying to remember what it was. It was jellyfish. It was really cool. And so that's what I'd say is, from me, you're not going to get it. From Diana, you're not going to get it. We're the main 2 instructors here, so we're not going to be teaching in a hyper-realistic style probably. Diana might have more skills than me in that, so I'll let her answer.
Well, I have in the past done some series that were hyper-realistic, and I enjoyed doing them, but my first passion, my love, is always going to be Impressionism and where that takes me. But some of that, people may want to have a little on the 1 month workshop where we don't have a theme. A lot of it takes more time than we have in a 2-up. Some of it takes like repeated days of going back with a little brush or things like that. So it just, from a practicality standpoint, probably not. But I have to say this, all of the tools we give can be used for hyperrealism. You just have to do the finish work. You have to figure out how to do the finish work. And part of that is learning to draw really well. Just your drawing skills have to be superb in order to make hyperrealism work. So that's, and that's something you can learn. You don't have to have a specific acrylic teacher to learn how to draw really well. And then it just comes down to, like, I could take this painting to a hyper-realistic spot if I wanted to, by letting it dry and then getting out a small brush, maybe sanding off some of the texture, and then going in with a tiny brush and refining. Because all the ideas about value, about color, about shape, proportion, all of that are here. It's just how far you want to take the rest of the painting.
That's a really good way to put that. It'd be cool to see you do that sometime, Diana, to take it to a realism standpoint. Never seen that before. Let's see.
The other thing, can I just add one more thing?
Yeah, totally.
The only other thing I would add is that we always are listening to our members. And if there was a lot of people who were saying, we would love that, we would totally do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
if it's like when we see frequent trends, people are like, I really want this, and it seems prominent enough, then yeah, absolutely. I'm loving the style of Jed's painting. Is that what we learned at Acrylic University? Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And Diana's. Both of their styles, you'll get no shortage of watching them paint and hearing what they're thinking about while they're painting and all that kind of stuff at Acrylic University. So Joan Hitchcock says, I'm a realist painter and find the lessons so valuable.
Oh, yeah, Joan is a perfect example of a
she is.
very accurate. I mean, man. Yeah, well, thanks for saying that, Joan. Because that's an interesting, to me, it's honestly a little bit of a, like, I'm glad you said that, because I would not necessarily know if the lessons, I mean, Diana just said it and I believe it, but it's like to actually hear it from somebody is cool, because you are the exact
is a great
kind of person.
I know.
Yeah. It'd be kind of cool, like, actually, I wish we could, but if you could see Joan's work, you'd see it's super amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And it's very different
very
than like the way that I would be painting, so.
How often are the live classes at Acrylic University? So we have one pretty much every Friday morning at 10 a.m., I believe. And,
yes. So there are live events almost every Friday.
Yep.
The event can be an interview. Like there are 2 weeks, like 1 week it's an interview. It starts with me doing the first week is me doing a smaller walkthrough that's kind of similar to like what's happened in the masterclass, where we talk about the big ideas and then I do a demonstration. And the demonstration is actually usually a smaller, easier to manage painting. And then that's the first week. Second week is usually a guest interview, and sometimes that can include a demonstration from the guest artist. Just depends. Mostly that depends on their technological capabilities, but they're always super, super interesting. The third week is when you're going to get the deep workshop with Diana that goes into the subject in quite a bit of depth. And then we also always have a week where we do critiques. And we often will, if the week allows and it doesn't fall on holiday, we will usually do a Friday night event where we do a live thing on YouTube here.
Somebody asks, okay, so what are the upcoming themes, Jed? The upcoming monthly themes.
Yes, and I'm sorry because I have not shared that yet publicly, but let me just go look.
So is next month beaches?
Next month is beaches.
Yes. Okay, I've got it in front of me.
Okay,
so
awesome.
It is oceans and beaches next month, and the artist that we have for a guest artist is Mark Hansen. He's a really, really, really great plein air painter. He works in oils, he works in acrylics, he works in pastels. He's kind of like a old school, learned everything and uses everything kind of artist. So he's a really cool guy. I met him a few years ago at an event that he was teaching at and I was attending, and got to talk with him some, and I've just kind of stayed in contact with him. So he's going to do the interview. And then the next month is hills and mountains, and we have Randy Hayashi. He is an incredible artist from Calgary, Alberta. And if you're Canadian, I'm sure you would know who he is. He's very well represented, incredible artist. And then in April, we have the Colors of Spring. And the artist that we have lined up for that is, who did I say? I'm forgetting. Doggone. Oh, yeah, Michelle Usabelli. I just couldn't remember her name for a second. Michelle Usabelli, she is awesome. I mean, I did an event with her last year it ended up being a virtual event, but she was one of the artists at the Laguna Beach Plein Air Invitational, and she does these really beautiful, like lots of like wide variety of scenes, but super cool. And what she's going to do for us is going to be a still life. She's actually going to record a demonstration and talk over it as she is doing kind of the interview. So that's going to be awesome. And then we have in May, sunrise and sunset. In June, we're going to look at urban, it's called urban beauty. So we're going to look at more of an urban landscape kind of idea. July is the color of shadows. August is rivers and streams. And September is skies and clouds. And then we're going to, we don't have it after that. That's kind of the end of what we have planned. Again, we like to see how things have gone. We like to get feedback, but that's what's coming up.
Yep. That's what's coming up. I'm looking for the cost to join. Where can I find it? So I'll paste it in chat again as well. There's a link up on the
screen, right?
On the screen, yeah. acrylicuniversity.com/membership. You can also go straight to the website, acrylicuniversity.com. It'll be right there. And you can find all the details, more details than we're posting here. Would you ever do classes going more towards the abstract? Probably not with these instructors, but if there was enough, like we said before, we listen to our members, and if there was enough interest for an abstract course it's possible, we could get another artist on. No guarantees, but like Jed has said before, and I'll echo that, we listen to our members and what they're interested in.
So I don't know what I was going to say. I was just checking to see the time, actually.
Yeah, we should wrap it up here soon.
Wrap it up pretty soon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh. All right.
Probably as soon as we can.
You mean I can't continue to overwork this ridiculously?
That's actually one of the things that was in my head. I'm like, I just signed it, and then I was like, I should just touch it up a little bit over here. Because sometimes I just sign it just so that it will make me stop.
Right. I could just go on and run this thing right off the mountaintop, off the cliff.
One of the things that I love about your paintings, Diana, is the color that you use in shadows and in your whites in the shadows is so beautiful.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. I mean, I can just see that that shadow color is so vibrant there. Is that ultramarine blue then, or did you bring out some phthalo blue there?
I have a little phthalo. I've been mixing back and forth between the two.
Oh, sorry.
So that's
your whole painting has been done with your what do you call that? Yeah.
Color shaper. I've been going back and forth between this, a number 4 flat, and a number 10 bright.
Very cool.
Back and forth and back and forth. So I haven't gone to a little brush yet. But yeah, it's all these 3 things.
Yeah.
I still want to fix this inside of the boat, but I can let it go. Sometimes I need a day to let it sit.
Yeah, guys. Oh, sorry, Jed.
Oh no, this is I'm gonna just show you real quick how I ruined my painting yesterday. Here is an example of my painting at the end. Like, this is me after hours and hours and hours of painting and getting like you can see,
Holy
it doesn't even look like the bird looked before. No. And I know, you don't even know. Like, that is so thick. The paint on there is so thick and textured. It was just like, a disaster. And I just pulled that out of the garbage can to
You went
show
wild,
you.
Jed.
So I know. Renee kept coming in here, and I was like, I know I need to be done, but I was addicted to it. I could not stop, and I had already screwed it up, and I was trying to get it back, and it was terrible. Worst day. So,
All right.
lesson.
Best example, though, of what we all do. Oh.
Okay, so one thing. Okay, so Gisela was saying, she's saying that some of her posts or like the posts in the group are getting buried and she doesn't get a lot of responses. She said trying to be aligned but need a little bit of a chorus line of encouraging roaring
You
behind
know
me.
what?
And
yes, do you want to say something about that, Peter?
Yeah, there are hundreds and hundreds of posts in there every single day. And because of the way that Facebook promotes things in a group, it's really easy for stuff to get buried. So we're so sorry if that happens. The Acrylic University community is a bit different, but just know that we support you and we're behind you in your journey and everything.
Well, and one of the things that we try to do, but it's hard to communicate this to everybody. But what happens is that the posts that have had the most recent comment always get put to the top. Mm-hmm. And it's because it prioritizes by default what's called new activity. And so what happens is if you post something and somebody happens to be working on or commenting on somebody else's post at that exact moment, your new post, if you post it and then somebody comments and clicks return on their new comment, it will actually be in front of yours. So what happens is like things that are being commented on because they've been seen already will push the recent post down further. Mm-hmm. And so there's a little setting you can click on the recent posts and you can see them all, but it's difficult, and I apologize about that because we try to get everybody seen and noticed, and but sometimes it's just the way that Facebook kind of works that it does that.
Yeah. So I'm just showing their paintings. I'm showing Jed and Dianna's paintings, and then we'll take any like final questions about the membership or anything like that, and then we'll call it quits for today.
Okay, sounds good.
Yep. I'm seriously messing this up, so I need to stop. Make me. Someone come over here and make me stop.
Oh, man.
Please, Jed.
It looks great, Dianna.
I think it looks great, too.
All right, well, I'm getting a little sawtoothy here. I need to just cut that out. Just stop. Stop it. All right. I'm not unhappy with the boat. I still want to fix that.
All right.
Yeah. Very fun. Very fun.
Yeah.
Oh, Jed, yours is gorgeous.
I actually feel like it was probably a better than I was expecting, and especially after my disaster yesterday, I had very low expectations for myself today. So I feel thankful about it. But yeah, no, I love yours too, Dianna. I like I said, some of the colors that you use in your boat, like I'm standing back from my computer. Your scene is very small on my computer, and I can see it, and it stands out to me. I love your work.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Oh, thank you. Well, I love what happened when you put that warm glaze over your whole black and white image. Everything.
Yeah, that was kind of cool.
Everything looks drenched in warmth, and I may add a warm glaze over this whole area after the fact, after it dries, because it feels a little cold and stark right now. So.
Well, this has been so fun, Dianna.
Yeah.
You are a treasure. You
so
are
fun.
a treasure. We are always thankful to be able to work with you and have you be part. I just know, personally, like you have come alongside me. You have been like just such an amazing friend to get to know over the last couple years, more and more, you know, like, and I feel like your attitude is so incredibly humble, and you have, like, you know, like Diana will say this to me, Peter, I don't know if she'll just say, hey, I just want to come alongside and I want to support you in whatever you're doing, however I can help, you know, like, let me know. And we all appreciate you. We are so thankful. And
Thank you.
anyways, I just can't say enough about how much you have meant to us being part of Acrylic University. And I know that, I mean, we know from the members' comments and from their experiences that they love you as well and experience all the same things where you give of yourself so generously. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That really means a lot to me. That's powerful. Thank
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's all true. So, Peter, do you want me to? I'll actually pull up my this old thing, and I'm just going to run through the final little thing here so that you guys know what's coming. We have on Monday, if you remember, make sure you get your homework done because that's going to be the second to last. We've got 2 more major prize days. That's the second to last one. And then Wednesday, we're going to have our celebration. And I really want you to mark it on your calendars. That's going to be so fun. And we're going to give away some final prizes there. The membership, of course, is open right now. If you are considering, I encourage you just to go right now, sign up for a month if you're not sure, test it out, give it a test drive, see if the Acrylic University car is a Ferrari or whether it's a lemon. You know, we think it's a Ferrari. You're going to get all sorts of amazing stuff in it. You're going to have the best community in the world. You're going to get inspiration, encouragement, support, feedback, and variety. You will flourish. We're going to turn your impossible into it's possible. So anyways, thank you for being here, everybody. It's been super, super fun.
Thanks, Jed.
Yeah, we love you. We believe in you.
Thanks so
Yeah.
much.
Love you guys. We will see you on Monday. Enjoy tomorrow to catch up and paint. And we'll see you in the community as always. Thank you, Diana. Thank you, Jed. And we will see you